If you broke up recently with an avoidant, you might be feeling they don't care. You might be wondering, hold on, they told me a few weeks ago they loved me, that I was important to them, and now they are super cold, they are distant, as if we never existed as a couple. And that's why I want to make this video, to show you that actually there are few hidden signs that your avoidant ex cares about you. As you know, I used to be avoidant, and as a therapist, I want to share my knowledge and help you move forward, make the right decisions for your relationship. And in this video, it's just to give you some tools, things that you can use should you want to get back with your ex, should you want to heal, but to actually better understand themselves and yourself in the context of this breakup. The way I look at avoidant is usually as an iceberg, right? We see what's above the sea level, but there's a lot of things going on below sea level. When they suppress emotion, when we suppress emotion, that doesn't mean that they don't exist. It's called dismissive avoidance because we dismiss emotions. And the thing is, as we dismiss emotion, we've been taught not to show emotions, almost that emotions are bad. Boys don't cry, type of things. You're gonna be fine. Don't be over dramatic about this and that. And so we usually struggle with expressing emotions. So even in a relationship, when you were together, I bet that you had a hard time understanding how they felt. And it was very hard for you to get any form of reassurance around whether they loved you, have feelings, etc., etc. So sometimes, it depends, but sometimes it's very hard for us to express our feelings. For some avoidance, it's very easy. But just showing the sort of emotional intimacy and be aware of our emotion is usually quite difficult. This self-coldness, this distance, is not about the fact that they don't care. It's not about the fact that they don't have feelings. It's self-protection. Because when we were younger, we were taught, be strong, right? If you cry, if you're weak, it's a sign of weakness. So be strong. If you are too close to someone, they will hurt you. So be aware. And that's an element of self-protection, especially around how can I sustain myself. If I'm too dependent on someone, I'm not going to be strong and self-reliant. So that's why you always have this element of coldness when you date an avoidant. When you break up with an avoidant, you have exactly the same effect. It's harder because right now, what you want to do is to connect, is to have explanations, is to be able to repair, but what you get from them is just a brick wall. I need my space. I don't want to deal with that. I'm being cold. I'm being distant. Let me be on my island, being self-sufficient, being with my own. So that's what you get. But that doesn't mean that they don't care. It just means that's our self-protective mechanism. So there are a few indirect ways they would stay connected. Watching stories on Instagram, liking posts, asking mutual friends about you. There are few subtle signs of curiosity, even when you're not in touch, even if you're no contact, and I would recommend you go no contact for a bit. That's going to be helpful to you. That's going to be helpful for them to realize also what they lost. What happens is that at some stage, they will start missing out on the relationship. They will, because they're on their own, they will reflect on things. They will reflect on the importance of this relationship. What you have to understand is the timeline is different for avoidant than for anxious. It takes us more time to reflect on things because as we have this ability to self-soothe and dismiss things, we don't feel it as strongly as people who have an anxious attachment style or even people who have a secure attachment style. We will dismiss things and later on that will kick in. And later on we will think about the positive emotions. Later on we will feel like, I actually was happy in this relationship. I actually enjoyed this person. I actually found this person amazing. And that's where you start questioning yourself about, okay, what's my role? Why am I always self-sabotaging the relationships? they will also feel those, perhaps things that you've experienced already right after the breakup. Songs, things that would remind them of yourself, etc., etc. Understand again, they won't express those things. You won't see them, or you won't hear from people saying like they're depressed, they're sad. They will mask. We are really good at masking. Poker face for a very long time. I thought it's an amazing skill to have, being sort of really having a poker face, not showing your emotions. And therefore, if I don't show my emotions, I'm strong. I'm the strong figure. People would respect me. People would admire me for this. Obviously, in the context of intimate relationship, that doesn't work. But that's what I thought for a very long time. What happens also is that you will see some contradiction around their words. They would say, no, it's over, I moved on, but still be around, be interested, or asking for emotional support. They might avoid deep conversations, but they will stay in touch. They might bump into you randomly, but feel like, oh no, it's over. They might keep things at their place, or at your place. And you know that those things are important, but in a way, and that's a classic one, keeping things, it's a sign that you don't really want to let go of the relationship entirely. That means that there's still an attachment, especially when it's with objects, there's still an attachment that we don't want to let go. We don't want to close that chapter, which means that the door is slightly open. It's not closed, it's not open, it's slightly open. If you're in touch with them, they might ask you whether you're dating someone. You will sense a bit of jealousy. They might feel frustrated, irritated when they hear that you're striving, that you have an active social life, that you have friends and, sort of a social support system. That's basically you're moving forward with your life, that you're not always obsessing on this relationship. The thing is, might not feel like it, but we hate feeling replaced. We hate actually seeing people secure, because we thrive at being, or we would love to be more secure. We would love to be as secure and confident. So again, there's an element where you feel, oh yeah, but he or she's super confident. They have always been like this, but deep inside they don't show it, but there's usually a lack of confidence, right? So this idea of seeing you moving forward while they're starting to reflect on the relationship, while they're starting to idealize the relationship, starting to feel there's something wrong with me, will also create a massive discrepancy. And that discrepancy will drive them to be more interested, potentially drive them at working on themselves. And so that's why you might see things like they would reach out randomly, pocket dial, stuff like that, sending you a meme, something that I see often amongst my clients, acting casual, bumping into each other, etc., etc. This is a sign, okay, they are trying to find ways to reconnect with you. Avoidance will always move forward very, very cautiously. I haven't seen in my years of practice an avoidant coming back to their partner, having sort of an accountability letter, expressing their feelings, etc., etc., unless they are my clients. But from the clients I've helped who were dealing with an avoidant partner, usually the process is that they would reappear, and you'll start a phase which is usually between few weeks and few months, where you're starting to get to know each other as if that date number one, date number two, etc., etc. Really increasing the level of intimacy slowly but surely, so they can feel safe. And that's the challenge when you are dealing with this, because you don't want this kind of relationship. You want to address things, you want to discuss things, you want to get that certainty about their feelings, about how they see the future, and so on and so forth. But when you approach things this way, you will sort of pressure and activate or deactivate their attachment style, and therefore they will withdraw and you'll get back to square one. So understand that, yes, at the beginning they will try, very, very cautious. That shouldn't be the baseline of the relationship. That shouldn't be what you get in terms of the relationship. You deserve more. And so what matters more is actions. not feelings, is action. What matters more is not how you feel about them actually, or actually even how they feel about you. Yes, it would be better if they are in love with you, if they have feelings. The point is, if they are missing out on the relationship, if they feel like, I want to get them back, the most important element here is not so much about their journey, where they're coming from, not even your journey. What really matters and what you have to assess, especially in the process of that I described, a few weeks, few months of working things out, is whether they are showing up for you. You deserve to be in a relationship that is not a one-sided relationship. You deserve to be in a relationship where your partner feels like he's or she's fighting for you. You need a relationship where you feel your partner is your teammate. You're shooting in the same direction. This is what you need to aim for. Not getting back together at all costs. Not getting back to the same old patterns that brought this breakup. And maybe this person, your ex, that you're trying to get back with, or maybe you're trying to move on. The only important question you need to ask yourself is whether they will show up for you. If you can't answer this question clearly, this is your answer. Ask yourself this question. Right now, maybe it's too early, but be focused on this question for the next few weeks, especially if you are in touch with them. Right now, if you're in the contact and you have no news from them, it's really about your growth. It's really about the actions you need to take to develop this secure attachment style. But if you're in touch with them, and if you're in that process, that's what I do with my clients on WhatsApp. We are focused on this question. There's a challenge that will run on how to develop this secure attachment style. Whether you're in touch with your ex or not, whether you want to move on, but really focusing on you. Have a look in the description. I will open the doors shortly. If you have any questions on this, let me know in the comment section. If you want to support, don't forget to subscribe. That will help me to push the content to everyone. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.